So I just wanted to hop in here before the video started and say I was trying to be lazy at my fish club and use my cell phone to record, and I ran some wireless lavaliers and I ran them way too hot, so the audio is kind of weird, but I was able to kind of make it so you could understand the audio, and I think the interview still went really good, so I'm going to put it out anyways just because. But I do want to do another interview with Dr. Eric Thomas. He's in my fish club, so that's probably going to happen. I haven't told him yet, but he's probably going to do another interview with me. And but I wanted to put this one out just because, like I said, I thought there was some good information in it. So just a heads up, I know the quality's kind of bad, but there's some good info, and it's understandable. All right, what's up, everyone? My name is Michael Pohl with Bay Area Aquatics, and we are at the Sacramento Aquarium Society, and we are interviewing this March month speaker, Dr. Professor Eric Thomas.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. I'm well, thanks.
Awesome. And thanks for coming out and speaking to us. I know this is your home club, so it's a very difficult time to get out, but, you know.
It was still good.
We appreciate it.
Short notice, but it was good.
We appreciate it. So what did you talk about today?
So today, I tried to get very specific and share particular techniques I use when I'm breeding Corys and Plecos. So I didn't talk so much about the ways to get Plecos to breed. I talked about the things that I do that I think work for me.
Okay. And so how many tanks are you up and running, and how many different types of Plecos and Corys are you breeding?
Like almost all my tanks are almost exclusively catfish.
Okay.
I think I have maybe one tank with cardinal tetras and one tank with a golden tetra. Everything else is a bottom dweller. And I have 9 tanks at home and I think 12 tanks at work. Sometimes we have more or less depending on the number of sort of standing stock of fish we're using, both for IF pets and research catfish.
Awesome. And so what's kind of your rarest fish that you've got at the moment?
Well, rarest in terms of like available in the hobby is probably the Waben muster and citrus,
okay,
which is I think it's German maybe for honeycomb, and that's probably the most rare one I have.
And if there was one fish you would want to get a hold of to breed or to study or anything like that, what would be that fish?
Oh gosh, I have. A lot of people would, if it was Plecos, they'd say, oh, a zebra Pleco or something like that. There are a lot of Corys, like right now there's actually a zebra Cory that everyone's very excited about, or a Zebrina Cory, and those are really rare, but I'd probably kill those, so I don't want those. I don't want to risk that, But there's a few Pinaculus, a few of the wood eaters. I've got mustard spots, which aren't rare at all, but dang, they're hard to breed. I've been working on them for years, and I've been close. They've been trapping in caves, but no eggs yet, and I'm really hoping I can get them there.
Awesome. And I know you talked a couple of tips, and I hope you don't mind giving some of your tips away. One of the things that I found interesting that I haven't seen anywhere else before was you talked about using bamboo to make caves and pipes.
Yes.
I think.
So when you have Plecos tend to trap their mates inside of a cave, and it has to be a closed end at one end, so it's a cave, not a pipe, which is open at both ends, to basically keep the female in there until she lays her eggs, and then also to keep the babies together. But I recently was successful breeding a whiptail, and a lot of the whiptails will not like to go into a cave because they don't like to back out, so they want it open at both ends. And so what I do is I take the bamboo, and everywhere there's a joint, that's a place where the bamboo stalk closes. So if you cut it at the joint, then maybe go a few inches forward, you get a cave. If you cut it between two joints, so you just have a segment of the bamboo in the middle, then you get a pipe, and you can use the whole thing. And a 6-foot length of bamboo might give you 8 or 9 caves, and if you buy those dried out at a garden store, it might only be like $10. It's a really good bargain.
And what diameter bamboo do you usually get?
I buy 2. I buy a 1-inch bamboo and 1.5-inch bamboo, and virtually all of my Plecos breed in those. My largest Plecos, the mustard spots that have tried to breed but not succeeded, they will fit into that 1.5-inch bamboo so tight, and I've thought that maybe that's why they don't succeed. They just needed a tiny bit bigger. But I bought 2-inch bamboo, and then they don't touch it. So there's sort of a sweet spot for diameter, maybe a little bit bigger than 1.5.
Maybe 1 3/4 or something.
I've got some clay caves from Pleco caves that are like that, where they're 1 3/4. It's right in between, and they do use those. They just haven't spawned yet.
Yeah, interesting.
Thank you for being here tonight and helping me. You didn't say this, but you helped me with the presentation. Michael helped me on the presentation tonight. I was doing this thing on techniques, and instead of doing all PowerPoint, I stopped at the end and Michael hooked up a cam overhead, and we did it like a cooking show where his camera was pointed down at the table while I prepared food and showed the people in the audience how I would prepare it for baby Plecos or for adult Plecos, which I haven't seen done in a talk before. So I hope the audience enjoyed it. I think they did, and the cameramanship worked great. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, and then there was one other thing that while you mentioned that, it struck my head that I really liked in your talk, talking about feeding. And you talked about your sweet potato and your potato peeler and why you do that versus other things.
So most people who keep Plecos and try and breed them like to feed them fresh vegetables. Zucchini is really popular, cucumber, things like that. My two favorite vegetables are partially boiled Brussels sprouts and raw sweet potato. My fish don't eat the skins, so I'll use a potato peeler to peel the outside of it. And instead of chopping up the sweet potato into a large chunk that needs to be weighed down to sink, what I'll do is I'll take the potato peeler and I'll strike it across the end of the sweet potato to essentially cut potato chips. Or you can use one of those stand-up cutters that's used for making like
it's like a cheese grater type of
it's for scallop potatoes. It's basically that kind of cut. And you get these almost paper-thin cuts of sweet potato, and as long as the sweet potato is fresh and wet, it'll sink on its own. It does not need to be weighed down. And by having lots of pieces, everyone in the tank can find a piece to chew on instead of everyone fighting for one chunk. And it's so thin that if they don't finish eating it, it disintegrates. So you don't have these big rotting chunks of sweet potato left over.
Yeah, no, like I said, I thought that was cool. I hadn't heard of that.
Try it out and see if it works for yours.
Have to try to.
You've got Plecos of your own?
I've got Corys, not Plecos.
Okay, well, if you get a Pleco.
I was going to say, I need to get Plecos. They're on my list to get.
How can you not?
I know. I haven't quite gotten
well, we see a life goal now.
Yeah, one of
bucket list, a Pleco.
It'll be on the fish channel eventually. Well, like I said, just wanted to say thanks from the Sacramento Club for coming out to the Sacramento.
Thank you.
Like I said, I know it's a long drive for you, difficult club to make.
Yeah, and it is. It's about an hour and 15 minutes each way every month.
Yeah, well, like I said, and you're the one that normally finds all our speakers. You're our program chair, so we just want to say thank you for all our cool speakers. Some of the cool people we've gotten a chance to interview on the channel. Eric's the one that's in charge of getting them and actually bringing them into Sacramento.
Thank you.
And we do appreciate it. You do a great job at getting speakers out.
Well, thanks.
Perfect. Awesome. And so, if you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any videos that I upload. Hit the bell notification so you get notified every time I upload a video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. As always, thanks for watching.
Oh, hey, can I give a plug?
Yes.
Beckatine's Fish Room on Facebook and on YouTube, but not a competing YouTube.
Yes.
It's just YouTube.
You're on Instagram.
No,
you're not on Instagram.
Well, actually, I think I am, but I don't do anything there.
Okay.
But I do have a YouTube channel of my own, and it's not like this. It's not interviews. It's actually the fish, and I don't even talk much there. I do since I'm describing what's going on, I do it in text, so if you need to pause it and read it, you don't have to rewind that way. You just pause it and you can read what's going on.
So. I'm going to link all that in the description below,
Thank you.
So you'll be able to find that pretty easily. I follow you on Facebook.
Thanks.
And you post some awesome cool stuff.
Thanks.
So, yeah.
All right.
And, I think that's pretty much it.
All right.
And
thanks a lot, Michael.
See you next time.
Okay.
Awesome.